Hi, Rick Harsh here. Can you see me? Is there enough light? Yeah, it seems like I have to have it back like this. Let's adjust it here. You can skip this ad in 3 days. Today we're talking about reviews. Uh, if you are getting bad reviews from the New York Times, welcome to the club. I got one review from them. It was very short, but it was not good. Uh, but if you're getting reviews from the New York Times, skip the rest of this video because this is for those of us who are in need of reviews or only get our reviews from Instagram and Goodreads. So I wanted to talk about the review situation for my book, The Manifold Destiny of Eddie Vegas. I've been getting, almost all 5-star reviews. And if you ask anybody who's read all of my books, what's his best book? They'll say, oh, Eddie Vegas. It's because, it's big. I think, pound for pound, Skulls of Istria might be just as good and maybe a couple of others. I don't know, but, I don't disagree. I like this book. I wrote it. It gets like almost only 5-star reviews. And so the ones that are really interesting to me are either the really great 5-star reviews, like I like Chris Via's because it's really short. It says, "See my video review," and but the video review is great, and it's like it's long enough. It's 12 minutes. I think they're perfect thing. But when you have a book that's getting a lot of good reviews, for me the fun ones are the ones that aren't. And I have a 3-star review. I'm looking at Goodreads right now. I have a 3-star review, and I put like by it, kind of hoping that the guy would, give it a good, a full review, just to see what a 3-star reviewer would say. It doesn't bother me in the least. In fact, earlier books of mine have gotten a bunch of lesser reviews. I don't know what the averages are, but I think most of the Driftless series, if they're up here, the individual ones, usually get average 3 to 4. So it's not that at all that bothers me. In fact, nothing bothers me. But they're fun. One thing does bother me. But Mystery of Mysteries, I had a 1-star review, and I thought this was over a year ago, and I think he might have read the advance copy or no, because he knew about the Stephen Moore blurb on the cover. A Stephen Moore blurb on the cover. What could be better? Well, I'll tell you what could be better. If Stephen Moore, he writes a nice one. He writes, Rick Harsh's word drunk, transhistorical odyssey, The Manifold Destiny of Eddie Vegas, which feels at times like a rollicking collaboration between Francois Rabelais, Hunter S. Thompson, and Thomas Pynchon, is the best novel I've ever read. If he'd have said that, that would have been great. But he didn't say that. What he said was, is one of the most impressive novels I've read recently. And that was perfect because this was received before I came here to publish. And so Riverboat Books wrote him and asked, could you put a blurb, because they heard that somewhere somehow Stephen Moore had written somebody and said the 2 best books he'd read recently were something from the now defunct Dalkey Archive and this book. And so that's all he said. And I don't know that he even meant it to be he certainly didn't mean it to be a big deal. He was just, telling someone, here's a couple of good ones I've read recently. And, but naturally, we want a fucking blurb, man. Come on. And he's he's a very nice man, as we all know, because he spent a great deal of his literary energy pushing for people to read terrific books, and so he's not going to refuse the blurb, but he's also not going to go apeshit, because a Stephen Moore blurb, they're everywhere, but he's going to want it to be accurate. And what was accurate was it was one of the most impressive novels he'd read recently. So this 1-star review, anyway, back to that. As soon as I saw it, I wrote the guy, and my main aim was to say, why would you give a 1-star review? I wasn't angry because I had plenty of good reviews even then. But I was thinking that's just so weird. It must be someone I know. And I didn't, we didn't continue speaking. I didn't yell at him or swear at him. I just said, what's going on? It's really weird to give a 1-star review. I mean, one is like, I shit on this book review. If you really, really don't like a book, you give it a 2. And then people know you're serious. So, just take that as advice in the future. If you really want to do some damage, give it a 2 and talk about it. I regret, again, that 3. I wish the guy would have talked about it. It would have been interesting. Like, for instance, a couple of reviews here that are 4s. One of them was very, one of them didn't really say why it was not a 5, but why should he have to? He wrote that it was a 4, and he mostly wrote good things about it. 4s are good. And so, I enjoyed that one. But another one gave it a 4. I think one of them gave it a 4.25, actually, which is a nice thing to do. You don't have to add that in there. But one guy said, it's not a 5 because, mostly because of myself. And I thought, well, no, come on, man, you gave me a 4. You don't have to. It struck me as sort of apologizing for not giving me a 5, and I'm like, look, 4 is good. 4 is good. I don't put anything below 4 up. If I really can't, in good conscience, give a book a 4 or a 5, I won't post it. But that's just me. The guy who gave me the 3, his only offense in my eyes is not giving me a good review. But this is Goodreads. You don't have to do that. In fact, one of my favorite 5s simply said, let's see if I can find it here. This book was great. I, however, am not a great reviewer. Read this book. So, not everybody has to write a lot. One guy did a 1-sentence review that was, he said something really terrific, but in 1 sentence. The best written and most persuasive review praising the book. It said it started with something like, forget Duck's Newburyport, forget this, forget that, and then went on to praise the hell out of this. But then the guy got mad at me and he took it down. And then he wasn't mad anymore and he put it up. But he's mad again, so he took it down. It was such a beautiful review. I don't think you should be able to take your reviews down like after a week. You should, let it rest for a week, and if you still like it, leave it up. Good or bad reviews. So this 1-star review, it disappeared. And I was looking for America and the Cult of the Cactus Boots reviews. There are three early ones, all by people in Europe. I read it, and two other people read it, and Germany and Italy, and great reviews. So I was looking on Goodreads, and I don't know. Somehow I thought, oh, I know. It's because the guy who wrote this book was great. I, however, am not a great reviewer. Read this book. He told me. He said, oh, I added something. I don't see it here. Or maybe there's a C review here. Let's see, C review. Oh, okay. He wrote a funny paragraph about it afterwards. Not about the book, but sort of about the book. But anyway, I liked his first review well enough. It's fun to see something else that goes on there, But the 1-star guy, I found a long review that was even, that let out the anger. And so I came to do this today to talk about reviews. I was going to read his review, and it's disappeared again. Or it's disappeared for the first time. The first time he gave me a 1-star review, but he didn't say anything. That's a nasty prick writing one. But I wanted, what is up your ass? Why would you do that? I guess one reason that I can think of that's really good is if you feel that you've been misinformed about a book and you're really pissed. You feel that you've been lied to or whatever, then you might, then you should get up there and say, I'm giving this a 1-star because this was, they told me this was young adult, there'd be no swearing and no humor and no playing with language or shit like that. And it was all lies. So I'm giving this fucker a 1. And you'd do the same. That would be a good reason, But I was just thinking, there's got to be someone I know. Someone who hates me. Someone who really hates me did this. So then, anyway, but it's been out of my mind for a long time. And then it was last night. I saw it again. Wow. The guy he actually wrote a review referring to me as pathetic for contacting him about the review. He wrote LMAO. That means laugh my ass off or laughed my ass off. I don't know. I hate these little acronyms like LOL. LOL drives me nuts. I've changed it, and I'm trying to teach others, persuade others, to write IPM. That means I pissed myself. Same thing, but more. It's just more individual. Anyway. I get tired of that kind of crap. Writers who would never, would cringe at the thought that they themselves could write a cliche, or make a criche, or a crepe. No, you go to school in a criche. Yeah, too many languages in Europe. I gotta get back to my people. Anyway, so this one, these people who do not like cliches, and none of us like cliches, although we love cliches when they're properly used. By the way, a little plug for a book that just came in. She sang to them, she sang. Now, he's got his own way of getting into the subconscious and subconscious of his characters. Maybe okay, if you see pages where there's indentation, what he does is he indents and then he indents more to get, there's the character on the surface and then underneath more. And I've been thinking about it. I got to do a review of it when I finish it. It comes out Monday from Corona Samizdat Press. It's called She Sang to Them, She Sang by the Canadian writer W.D. Clark, who's a master, and of the line, of the sentence, of the characterization. And I was thinking of comparing it to stream of consciousness. Not in a way to suggest that one is better than the other, but as an interesting alternative to stream of consciousness. I think that's probably the most apt thing I can say about what he's doing. But back to reviewer number one. So he wrote this long thing, and he mentioned me going to the writer's workshop, which was not really very necessary because, I mean, it's not a big deal to me. In fact, if you see anything that I say about it, it's almost always negative. But the funny part was his mentioning that I somehow got, I'm not sure of the exact words, but I somehow got Stephen Moore to write a blurb, but he accurately notes that the blurb is not like the most, you know, volcanic blurb of all time. He properly notes that it's not the most, I mean, it's great. It's a great blurb to me, but it does have the fault of not saying this is the best book the world has ever seen. But but he gets across that the blurb is not, it's not all that, but it was very personal. And he talked about how I wrote him in some paragraphs, LMAO, and which is where we got off track. I mean, I pissed myself. But so I went to find it today, and I was going to read it here and talk about these things. And my aim, basically, is twofold. It's maybe paradoxical. I'm not sure. My aim is to say to any writer out there, who the fuck cares? Yeah, we want to get as many people reading our books and buying our books as possible, but you've got to have some armor, and my armor is just, it's a natural thing. Criticism, what the fuck, you get it when you're a kid, you get it throughout your life, and you just decide who you are and what you want to write. And every once in a while you're actually going to find out that a critic nails something, and then you'll learn from it. That happened to me with perhaps every book that I've written up until recently. Yeah, well, with a lot of books, the criticism has been just, like once in a while somebody just nails something and you go, thanks, just in time. The editor of my Driftless trilogy, for Billy Verite, for the Driftless Zone, he edited almost nothing. We went over it by phone and line by line, and I didn't want to change certain things that he wanted to change, and he would just laugh and go, it's a Driftless thing. But the second book, he found a major flaw in both the beginning of the book and the end of the book. And both times, he was fucking right. The book, I love the book now. It's called Billy Verite. I love it. But I don't remember exactly what they were, but I remember thinking, oh, Jesus, that's true. And so, if he were a critic, he would have said, this book had so much potential, but the author really fucked himself with that beginning. And then in the end, God, so that's the good part about a bad review. The other thing is, there are a lot of snotty people out there, and they should just stay the fuck off these things. I'm not saying that a mediocre book should get a 4s and 5s predominantly, but on a place like this, if you read your friend's book, you give it a 5, or give it a 4.5, and don't admit that you're his friend, But mainly the thing is, if you're watching out there, 1-star guy, I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Put it back up. Why keep putting it up, taking it down, put it up, taking it down? And you, guy out there who compared it to Duck's Newburyport, just put it back up. Come on, be a hero. That guy I've actually praised his book in public, and I'm not gonna. Why would I take it back? It's the book, not the man. I mean, I may be a serial killer, okay? I'm not saying I am, but I'm not saying I'm not. But if I'm a serial killer, I'm the serial killer who wrote The Manifold Destiny of Eddie Vegas, which is a pretty darn good book, according to most people. Take care and make of this what you will.